What happens when a dreamer who sees the future meets a genius who can build it? Long before the creation of Apple Inc., two young men crossed paths in California, and their partnership would eventually change the world of technology forever. Their names were Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. At first glance, they were completely different people, yet their differences would become the secret behind one of the most powerful partnerships in business history. In the early 1970s, computers were massive machines used only by governments, universities, and large corporations. The idea that an ordinary person could own a computer seemed almost impossible. But one young man, Steve Wozniak, was already fascinated by electronics. From a very young age, he spent countless hours building circuits, experimenting with computer parts, and designing small electronic devices just for fun. Wozniak loved engineering deeply. He didn't dream about becoming rich or famous. For him, the joy was simply in building something that worked. Meanwhile, Steve Jobs had a completely different personality. Jobs was curious, bold, and incredibly ambitious. He was not the best engineer, but he had something that many people around him didn't fully understand at the time. Jobs had vision. He believed technology could change the world. And more importantly, he believed that computers would someday become tools that ordinary people could use in their daily lives. The two young men were introduced by a mutual friend named Bill Fernandez. Fernandez knew both of them loved electronics and thought they might get along. The moment Jobs met Wozniak, he was amazed by Wozniak's engineering talent. Wozniak, on the other hand, enjoyed Jobs' energy and bold thinking. They quickly became friends, bonding over their shared love for electronics, technology, and creative mischief. Their friendship soon led to their first collaboration. At the time, long-distance phone calls were extremely expensive. However, some hackers had discovered that certain sound frequencies could manipulate the telephone network and allow calls to be made for free. Fascinated by this idea, Wozniak designed a device called a blue box, which could reproduce those frequencies and trick the phone system. It was an impressive technical achievement. When Jobs saw the device, he immediately recognized something important. While Wozniak saw it as an interesting engineering project, Jobs saw it as an opportunity. He convinced Wozniak that they should build more of these devices and sell them. Together, they started producing blue boxes and selling them to college students. Surprisingly, people were willing to pay for them. For the first time, the two friends realized that they could build something valuable and turn it into a business. Years later, Jobs reflected on that moment and said that if it hadn't been for the blue box, there might never have been an Apple. That small project taught them an important lesson. When creativity and vision work together, powerful ideas can become real opportunities. Despite their growing friendship, Jobs and Wozniak remained very different personalities. Wozniak was quiet, humble, and focused on engineering. He loved designing elegant machines and solving technical problems. Jobs, however, was intense and driven. He was obsessed with creating products that could change how people interacted with technology. Yet these differences were exactly what made their partnership so powerful. Wozniak had the ability to build brilliant machines, while Jobs had the vision to imagine how those machines could change the lives of millions of people. Around this time, a new movement was slowly beginning among technology enthusiasts. Hobbyists were starting to experiment with building smaller computers. Most people still believed computers would always remain giant machines used by large institutions. But Jobs believed something very different. He believed that one day every home could have a personal computer, and he knew the one person who could build such a machine was his friend Wozniak. This belief would soon lead them to work on a new project together. A project that would begin not in a large laboratory or corporate office, but in a small garage. That simple idea would eventually grow into one of the most influential companies in history, Apple Inc. Their story teaches several powerful lessons. First, the right partnership can change everything. Steve Jobs had vision, while Steve Wozniak had extraordinary technical talent. Separately, they were talented individuals, but together they became unstoppable. Second, talent alone is not always enough. Brilliant ideas need someone who can see their potential and bring them to the world. Finally, small experiments can lead to life-changing opportunities. Their Blue Box project was just a small and risky idea, but it helped them realize that they could build something valuable and share it with others. Two young friends with different personalities had discovered the power of collaboration. Soon, their partnership would lead to a computer built in a garage, a moment that would ignite a technological revolution and mark the true beginning of Apple Inc. If you enjoyed this chapter about the incredible partnership between Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories about innovation, success, and the rise of legendary companies like Apple Inc. And don't miss the next chapter, where we reveal how a simple project, built inside a small garage, became the first step toward building Apple and starting a technological revolution.